Well, today's Friday and it's the 6th of February and it feels like a Saturday for some reason, but it's Friday. And yeah, we haven't been out for a walk for a while, and it seems a bit strange because the weather has been so absolutely awful. Well, today we've got a bit of a break and the sun's shining, and we're off into Palma. So just waiting for the bus. Well, just left the ladies. They're off on the way shopping, and I've just come for a walk into some of the back streets and Plaza de la Merced. This is actually a really nice church which I've just been into, but I've never been into it before. It's the first time. Big church here, look. Always lots of streets, back streets to explore. You come to these like little plazas where there's a cafe, different places, different bars, and little shops on the corners. And the sun's shining, and that's the church. It's the side. And then I just walk, and I can see another big church, just less than 100 meters away, I think. And these little alleyways. It is very windy, so it's quite good to be in a back street where we're a little bit protected from the wind. It's only just after 10:30 in the morning, so lots of places are not open yet, or just opening up. Oh, it's another great find, another amazing church with a museum. It's quite astounding how many churches there are in Palma. A shop full of material. As I was inside the church, I could hear what sounded like children running, and there's a school. I must say I'm totally disoriented here now. I just don't know where I am. But, I know that if I walk a few paces I'll recognise somewhere eventually. And there you go, another church, and we're in San Miguel, or will be. I'm going to make my way into Plaza Majorca. Walking down San Miguel now.
A ver, a mí no me dijo, y que lo coge.
Well, considering it's not even 11 o'clock yet, it's getting busy. Shops are opening up and Palma comes to life. So yesterday we fortunately told by a friend that Michael Portillo was doing a programme on Mallorca. It was on the British television, UK Channel 5, and it was really good, really showed Mallorca off, and saw some things which we'd not seen before, so it was quite nice to watch. I'm sure you'll be able to get that on a catch-up type thing online if you're in the UK. Just coming to Plaza Mayor now. Looks like some people on a guided tour. Just coming into Plaza Mayor. I'm going to go out this side, but on my way I'll just point out the plaque on the wall there, look, which marks the birthplace of Ramonul way back in 1232. And the wind is blowing. And now this is a funnel, so the wind is really blowing through here. We're into February, and one of the things that February has is Carnival. And Carnival really starts this weekend, and some places on Saturday they've got processions. And then here in Palma on Sunday, there are lots and lots of activities for children, all free. So I think probably down here, which is Via Roma, there'll be lots of things just down there. And also down in the Borne. Down the steps here. Under Plaza Mayor, we used to have a commercial centre, and you could get to it here. And there were lots of shops, and Anita and I used to like going and having a look around the shops. We used to buy presents to take back to the UK from some of the shops there. And unfortunately it was closed down. Not really I can't remember any clear reason why it was closed down. It was just closed. And at the moment you can't even walk through it. You can go down to the car park, which is down below, but all the commercial parts now closed off. But apparently at the end of this year is when we're going to start to see the renovation and the complete remodelling of Plaza Mayor and that commercial centre, and that is actually quite exciting. Another thing I read about in the paper was the cinemas. There used to be a cinema there, I think, right in front of us. And lots of the cinemas that they used to have in Palma have now closed, but that was one of them. Building on my left is the Teatro Principal, main theatre as it was. A place Anita and I have been to many times, quite often to watch opera, which they do subtitles, which I think is quite cool. Anyway, there's always lots going on here. Dance. Get your tickets. Flying Dutchman. And there's a whole list of things, Tosca down to Rigoletto. Just across the road, magnificent building there, which was at one time a grand hotel. It's actually now a cultural centre of La Caixa, one of the big banks in Spain. And they have lots of events on, so you can see school children. So they maybe have been on a visit there. It's on several floors, and they have different exhibitions and things for adults and for children. But on this side, this is where Michael Portillo came, and so on the TV programme yesterday, he actually came into this shop and spoke to the owners here, and they were showing him how they were making the different things, in particular the ensaimadas. And if you don't know what an ensaimada is, oh, there you go, there's an ensaimada. A little bit of a history. He was pointing out that on the walls of the shop inside, we've actually got lots of things, and there's the bakery down below. I'm not going to go in. Anita said to go in, but I'm not going to go in. We'll actually just go across to the CaixaForum. I do get an email from the CaixaForum which tells me what's on, but I may have missed something, so just go across and have a look to see what's on the poster. See what it says. I've seen lots of really interesting things here. They do a menu here, €15.20. There's a group of children coming out. And so you can see lots of things going on all through February. A bookshop next to it as well. Plaza de la Abuela. Plaza de Abuela. And across the road there, the courts. Plaza del Mercat. I've never known there to be a market there. And another church, of course. across the road, the yellow building there is there used to be a news agent who used to sell newspapers and magazines. I think they've nearly all closed now, nearly all gone. They're just not economical for the people who own them. Bar Alaska, it's not open yet. Pretty sure that will be opening up later on. Lots of school children around, out on their Friday day out. Another pastry shop. Go past the shops and they smell so good. And not just the food ones, but even the other shops they've got. I don't know, maybe it's the whatever they clean them with, but it smells good. Another big group of children here. They're all wearing their IDs. Oh, there's hundreds of them. Oh, I don't like that responsibility. These are really tiny little tots. Big long line of them. Another museum. Well, something going on there. I'll go and investigate. Well, it's very, very noisy, and it's basically showing all the different cultural centres. Many of them we've been to. This is the one in the north of the island, Plaza Blanca. That's the Maritime Museum. We've been to that one. Casal Soriec, we've been to that one. Yeah, I think. Oh, then this one, Can Palaguer, that's where we actually are. This is the building here, which is just up those stairs. Definitely worth a visit. You can have a coffee, and have an ensaimada. So many interesting things. And the Teatro Principal, we've just walked past the Teatro Principal. Well, nice to see that they've all come together to show off what they are and where they are. But it's very noisy. Muy interesante. I do like the door handles. And TV cameras are here. Just so that you know exactly where we are, we're outside C&A now. That's Jaime Tres, shopping street, and this bar, the Bar Bosch, one of the most famous bars in Palma. right next to McDonald's and cappuccino. So I mentioned a bit earlier on that we're at the season for Carnival, and so things have to get set up for Carnival for this weekend, particularly because this weekend it's called Rueta, and lots of activities for children, and we can see it's getting quite serious. Look, there's a huge stage being put up here, and that is particularly for Rueta. This is the passage born, and one of the museums that was being advertised inside that exhibition we've just been is Casal Soleric. Beautiful building. The architecture here is wonderful, and it's just really a feast for the eyes. This is a shop, a store for Zara. Just look at that wonderful building which says Born, which is where we are. It's in the road. Not so keen on the one next to it, it's a bit too modern. But just come over to this side. Another magnificent building. Can't actually see what's on that plaque. So Sunday, throughout the day, we're just going to have to be praying for fine weather, because there'll be lots of things happening down here. Children will be able to play games, they'll be able to watch shows, watch different activities. There'll be lots of things happening. All the families will be down here. There's another storm coming in. We've had rain after storm after storm. And well, the one that's coming in tomorrow is called Marta. So we're working our way gradually through the alphabet, but a bit too quickly for me. A back street we can wander down. Up there we've got the post office. Correos. Again, just look at the magnificent buildings up there. Wonderful, wonderful. Oh, that's Zara Home. And we're just approaching Plaza de la Reina, which does have a fountain in the middle, but thankfully it's not on today, because if it was, it would be blowing water all over the place. Really bright sunshine. In other videos I've spoken about that we're going to have solar panels, and really they've not been doing very much for the past month. I think we've been consuming more electricity, or considerably more electricity than we've actually been making, which is not how it's supposed to be. But it's just that it has been very, very cloudy, and so some days produce very, very little. Well, today hopefully we'll make up for that. I've got a fountain on here, and it is blowing a little bit, but it's sheltered. This area is where you can catch buses, usually. No buses here today, though. And then down below they've got all the taxi rank. Palma, Mallorca in general, but Palma in particular, always has lots of taxis. It's, in the summertime, perhaps not always enough, but normally lots of taxis. Let's look at this old olive tree here, all twisted. We went to a garden centre on whatever day it was this week, and Anita was buying some plants, and outside they were selling olive trees, and there was one similar to that, which was 10,000 euros for one olive tree. 10,000 euros for a tree. The fountains here are, and usually not many people around. There's usually quite a few people taking photographs. This is one of the places where the tourists come from, the cruise ships. It's one of their first places they come to once they've come into Palma. The oranges on the trees. Adam has some of these and he says they're not very nice, they're a bit bitter, so I'm guessing these two are not really too edible. Just to the left, a big building there. Another place that Michael Portillo visited. This is the Almudena Palace. It is the royal residence for the King of Spain, his family, here in Palma, the official residence. And Michael Portillo managed to get a guided tour, and it looked really interesting. So it's one of my things to do, but you can't actually do it at the moment. It's closed. So whatever Michael Portillo said in his video, you can't visit it, you can't go in. It's closed now until June, I think, for restoration work. So if you are coming, you have to wait until June before you can have a look around. So that's something I've definitely got on my list of things to do. It's something I really want to see. So we'll put that one down. More water features, more fountains. It's circulated water, it's definitely not drinking water. And it's a little bit of natural air conditioning. Lots of steps here. There's the sling thrower. We've got some street sale vendors. They are largely illegal. Still got a lot of the Christmas decorations. I noticed the Christmas tree down there, which is right next to the statue of Ramanyul. The ones tied to the lamppost are still there. So if you look at the Christmas tree there, right in front, right to the side is the statue of Ramanyul. Tourist information place, that's a good one to know. And here we've got Parc de Mar, and if you look just a little way in, there's a crocodile. And the crocodile's still there, still keeping an eye on things. And then up there, that's the Almudena Palace, and obviously next to the cathedral. The other thing that was I've seen in the newspaper just today, I think actually, was the steam train that used to run across here. And this used to be the port years ago. The road wasn't there, and the ships would come in, and there was a train that actually went to Manacor, I think, and it went along this front here. One of those things that is now gone. And one of the great things that's now here is the Maritime Museum, which you can get to just by walking down there. I've done a video of that. It's a really interesting place to go. Really glad to see that open again. It's been closed for such a long time, basically because it didn't meet the requirements for health and safety. So. Right, I've got a few steps to go up, so I'll catch you. That's usually open, or always used to be open. I think that may be closed for the winter. I'll catch you at the top. At the top now, and the sun is really bright. Now we'll just come around this way. We'll look down on the Parc de Mar and see a bit better the crocodile down there. And I don't think there are any cruise ships in today. So street sellers are not doing very much business. And just to remind you, I know I say it a lot, but it's illegal for them to sell, but it's also illegal for you to buy. And if you're caught buying from them, you can get quite a hefty fine. And it's not a threat, it's an actual thing. You can get fined, and people have been fined for buying from them. That's the Royal Palace. In the summer they use Marivent, which is across the road from the school where I used to teach, Belvedere College. Getting blown along here. So this magnificent building, again, it's one of the places that Michael Portillo viewed and visited. And really, if you come to Mallorca and visit Palma, then this has really got to be on your itinerary. It is an amazing building, one of the largest cathedrals in the world, and one of the very few that's built so close to the sea as this one is. Carry on climbing up all the steps. And interestingly, it took 300 years to build. So Spain, Mallorca, was actually governed by the Moors, the Arabs. And in 1229 it was retaken by Jaime I. And so once Jaime I was here, then things began to change to become more Christian. This cathedral was not here then. There would have been a mosque. And this castle, this fortification, was an Arab castle and got converted. So this did exist. Perhaps not in its present form, but it did exist. And Ramanyul, I've shown you his birthplace, that was just up the road there. He used to walk down here, and because he came from a noble family, he would mingle with the royals inside the Almondina Palace. And he became the steward of the King Jaime II. And it was during that period that the commissioning of the cathedral happened. And so Ramanyul would have seen the foundation stones being laid and would have seen the beginnings of this magnificent cathedral being built right back in the beginning of the 13th century. So when Michael Portillo came, one of the things he did do was to go up onto the roof, which you can do on certain days. And it's something, again, we've never actually done. It was closed for a long time, particularly during COVID, and then reopened. And you had to get appointments to go. Obviously, Michael Portillo has influence, more influence than I have. And he managed to get his guided tour or walk along there. But it's something I do intend to do. There are 3 or 4 big ships in, but they're all ferries that go to the mainland. There's a couple from Baleares. There's a GNV, and then there's another one which has got its back tours. Can't see what that one is. And there's a ship gone out, but it's going to be quite rough out there, I think. We have had a sailing ship in called the Pelican. It's a British sailing ship, but I don't think it's there anymore. I did have a look when we went down to Portopee to do some shopping, but I couldn't see any signs of it. It's a 2 or 3 master training sailing ship. I would like to have had a photo of two of that, but looks like I might have missed it. So the other thing that Michael Portillo was particularly pleased to see was the stained glass window on that side of the building, and it is second biggest in the world. It is a huge stained glass building, and the height of this cathedral makes it I think the 8th biggest, certainly in the top 10. But twice a year they have a thing called the Festival of Light, which this year was the first one was on the 2nd of February, just last week. And well, actually this week we've just gone by. And what happens is the sun rises. You can see the sun over there on that side. Well, as it rises, the sun shines through the stained glass window that's on this side, and it projects its image on the wall on the other side, below the big stained glass window, and so you get effectively a figure of 8 with 2 stained glass windows, the big one and the projection of the smaller one on it. Unfortunately this year the cathedral opened. I think people did turn up, but if they'd read the weather forecast, it just didn't happen. There was too many clouds, so no sunrise, no projection. Just down there, that is the entrance to the Maritime Museum, which is underneath the wall there that people are walking over. Definitely worth a view. I think it might be free to go in, I can't remember. And this is the museum that goes with the cathedral. Such a magnificent building. There's you just see about a quarter of the stained glass window on this side. A stained glass window. Actually, I think I'll go this way. That's the museum. I think on another occasion I might revisit that. Problem with for me when I'm filming places like that is the low light. And I think that went in there before I had this camera, so maybe a better video now. So these are sort of narrow streets. I did put a video up about Belvedere Castle, and Belvedere Castle, built at the same sort of time as the cathedral, started at about the same sort of time. However, instead of taking 300 years to build, Belvedere Castle took just 11 years to build, and built originally as like another royal palace, but didn't really remain that way. In fact, for most of its time, it's been a prison. It was handed over to Palma in 1931, and that's when it became a museum. But even then, during the Civil War, it became a prison again, housing up to 800 prisoners. It's quite amazing. See, we're in the backstreets. So I've got the gardens here. I have actually been into the gardens before. Walk round. Wow. Just looking at the fossil there. So the Parc de Mar is just down towards the right of where we are now. A bit noisy. If we look down here, that's down towards Parc de Mar. And this little road takes us down to the Arab baths. Though I'm not going to go to the Arab baths. I must do that because I don't think I've ever done a video in Arab baths. They're very small, there's not a great deal to see, but it's something that's very much on the itinerary of things to see here in Mallorca. As is this building. And again, I've done a video here which probably needs to come back to. There's the gateway to the Parc de Mar, but this is the museum. This is the Mallorca Museum. The streets are fascinating, aren't they? Just little shops as you walk along. Galleries. Cafes. Oops, he's going around here. So these are residencies, people live here. And you've got the garage doors. They have to have a special permit as well to drive in these old parts of Palma. Not everybody can do that. Carrera de Can Pontivic. The thing you do notice is just how clean everywhere is. The streets, no litter. And move along and there's like a little art gallery. That's a lovely picture. Oh, hello. Hello.
Dear.
Well, that was really nice. I've just stopped there. Lucas running away. He's a former student, and it's always nice when a student stop and say hello and tell me what they're up to, what they're doing, and about other students as well from years gone by. What a strange place to bump into him. Little bars here. Almost walk past them and not notice them. This is the School of Tourism. This is actually where Serena went for a time. I think she did a year there before she went off to the UK to university in England. They're narrow streets, but the cars do go up and down them. Magnificent. I just love the architecture of Palma. They're just such wonderful places. And how the wall's been gouged along the baseline there. And what hides behind that door? I know exactly where I'm heading now. This is actually Carrer del Sol. Look at that little alleyway there. You could almost touch both walls at the same time. Crazy, isn't it? The little art gallery studio here. And those of you who watch the videos regularly will recognise this place, because it's one place I come to regularly just to keep an eye on the progress of things going on here. This is actually Carrer del Templar, the Temples Street Road. And this is the thing I come to look at is this, I don't know, it actually looks modern now, doesn't it? Relatively modern. It's got its new shutters on. It's all been restored. And it's getting towards the end now. We can see the electric fittings inside. This is the Templar Arch. And this was where the Knights Templar were based when they were here in Mallorca, and it goes back to that same piece of history to 1229 when Jaime I reconquered Mallorca, and he landed in Santa Ponsa And they came offshore there. Hundreds of boats were carrying the troops and the knights and the horses, and they rode on towards Palma. So they landed there because it wasn't fortified like Palma would have been. And so they made their way. And one of the battles that they had was actually at Portopee. And it was really a tough one, apparently, because the Arabs, the Moors that were here, had really got them pinned down. But because of the discipline of the Knights Templars and possibly the Knights Hospitaller who were around at the time, they were very brave fighters and managed to force their way through and enabled Jaime I to take Palma. So that was all way back in 1229 and 1230. Something which is celebrated even now. We're just going past, there is Caritas, which is like the official charity here in Mallorca. And this building here is known as Palma Activa. And yet another church. Bar here is not open. Such great age is the buildings here. 1621 to 2000 on restoration. This church isn't open. I'm actually not going to walk down that road. I'm going to go this way. Carry on the back streets. I do like the. Here's another nice little plaza. This is Carrera de Sant Agustí. San Agustin. There's actually a school, San Agustin School, just close by. A lot of these buildings here have got like ETV. ETV means that it's a tourist rental. It means you can officially go on holiday there. They have a license and they give them these ETV sticker things or signs to put up. We'll actually go this way. And well, the news in Palma, I did actually put a news video, but it not very well received. The American lady didn't go down too well. Anyway, the news really in Palma is that no new licenses for tourist rental will be allowed. I'm not sure what TI is, but I think that might be something to do with tourism as well. And those that do have tourist rentals, when they come up for renewal, are unlikely to have them renewed, so there will be less and less tourist rentals in Palma. The reasoning behind this is several-fold, I guess, but I think the primary one is to allow people who wouldn't come to here to live and work to be able to have places that they can afford to do that. And so once they're no longer tourist rentals, then they can be rented out to locals, residents. So we've got now some bars and restaurants here, cafe there. Raimondo, I've actually had a burger there. One year they were voted the best burgers in the whole of Mallorca, and I certainly enjoyed mine. I think it had, did it have a syringe to inject the mayonnaise or something? I can't remember. And this is the Plaza, Raimondo Plaza, and lots of benches, sitting areas, some in the sun, some in the shade, and a nice place to just take the weight off your feet for a while as bars start to open up. People over there sitting in the sun. Oh, I'm just going to sit in the shade. It's not really cold here today. I think it's quite mild. I haven't actually seen a temperature, but probably be 15, 16 degrees. And certainly for walking around, that's been quite comfortable. Well, I just had a message to say Anita's back having a coffee. That's a little bit early. She must have cut short her shopping trip. It's actually not too far to walk to where Anita is now, but this is a square I quite often come and have a sit in, and if I'm a little bit early, so I've done quite well walking around. I usually go down that way, and then so I usually avoid this area because it can be a little bit more of a seedy area. There's Belvedere Castle and the cathedral, and there's King Jaime the First. There's a little park in front. It's the sort of place where you get ladies standing on street corners. But we're just not very far from Sindicato, so I'm just going to walk up to Sindicato and then I'll walk down there. There we go. Oh, donuts and churros. more or less where we started. And hopefully the ladies are in the coffee shop just around the corner. It's almost good for sitting outside, which they do sometimes. Perhaps not today. Well, I caught up with Anita and we've had a coffee, and with Yvonne as well, and we're just waiting for the bus, and luckily the bus is in, so shouldn't have too long to wait.
I've got a few successful things price shopping.
Anyway, thanks for watching and we'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.